Hey everyone, my name's Cody. Welcome back to Book Addiction. Back for another month to do a wrap-up video to see what I've been reading and what I have picked up, things like that, and possible TBR for the next month coming up. It is October, best time of the year. Hope you're reading plenty of horror and watching horror movies, and doing all the great festive stuff and going out and doing your apple hunting and pumpkin hunting and all that good stuff. Favorite time of the year, of course. But first, I figured I'd jump right into what I've read recently. Wasn't a whole lot, but one big, thick book. Probably the biggest book I think I've read to date, which is great for me. I'm sure to some people it's nothing, but gotta start somewhere. First up, getting ahead of myself, is the book that I talked about my last video was Heart-Shaped Box from Joe Hill. It's Stephen King's son. I did finish this one. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was some moments in this book that's really messed up that will stick with me for sure. Great story. I could definitely see this turn into a movie. Have some actors in my mind that I could see playing certain characters. And I think it'd be a decent movie for sure. Definitely I haven't read a whole lot of Stephen King. Hardly any at all. We'll be getting into that more in a second. But I felt like it had like the Stephen King type vibe feel from what I get from his movies and things like that. So great book. I'd recommend it. I think I'd give it like 3.5 or 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. Next up, after I finished that, we dived into Golden Son, the Red Rising sequel. I absolutely loved Red Rising. Thought it was fascinating. Sci-fi, action, fantasies, just everything, and all bundled in one. But it really ramped it up in the sequel, Golden Son. This had everything turned up way higher. The budget for this, if you were to be a movie, would have been twice, 3 times as much more as the first one. It's non-stop. There's very little space in between each action point in this. But what got me was the ending. If you've read this, you know what I'm talking about, but it is absolutely mind-blowing. It's everything I could do not to go ahead and pick up the third one. I didn't actually have it at the time, but I honestly don't know where this is going to go. And the fact that this is a trilogy, but there are continuation after that, I just don't know where this is going to go. Everything kind of just blew up, and it was mind-blowing. That's all I can say. I can't spoil it, but the ending was insane. The last page just blew my mind. If I had one complaint about this book, there are so many characters, and some of the names are so similar, and some of the characters are very similar, that it gets confusing at times. Like there's obviously certain characters that you know as soon as their name mentions who they are, but there's certain ones that are thrown in there that you haven't heard about since the last book, or they just kind of drew in this book, but they're hardly there until like the action scenes. And it got kind of confusing at times. That's the only complaint I have about this book. If you have that same problem, let me know down below. But maybe I'm just not used to a book with that many characters. So it got confusing a few times. I had to pause and try to remember who it was. But besides that, I mean, mind-blowing action, just fascinating. I absolutely love this. Definitely 4.5. I'd say 4.5 stars. I think I might have given it 5 on Goodreads, but because you can't do halves. So I think I went with a 5, but it'd be a 4.5 for me. So cannot wait to get to the next one, the follow-up, which will be the trilogy ending. But like I said, it continues. I think there's like 5 or 6 books in this series, so we'll see how that goes. I kind of like diving around and doing one book and then jumping into something else, kind of get a little taste of something different, so you don't kind of burn yourself out on it. Next up would be The Royal Assassin, the sequel to Assassin's Apprentice. We're back with Fitzchivalry and The Fool and Burge. And see, this book I can remember all the names. The first one was great. I absolutely love the first one. Definitely, some people could say it's a slow pace, but that's just the way the writing is and the way they're building the characters and the world. And that's just the writing. And the writing from Robin Hobb is absolutely fascinating. I absolutely love it. But this one takes everything from the first one and ramps it up. So in the first one, you kind of got little plot points. It's kind of sneaking like about the Forged and the Islanders and things like that. But in this one, it takes all that and expands it so much more. As you can see, this was like 670 pages-ish. This is probably the biggest book I've ever read, as I was saying. But I loved every second of it. I finished this last night. I stayed up till 1 o'clock to finish this. And I loved every second of it. And same with the Golden Sun, with the ending, I wanted to jump right into the third one. But after reading this hunker of a book, I wanted something different. But that is what I read since the last video. That would be the TBR for September. It kind of overlapped into October because this thing took a little bit more time, even though it read really fast. When I actually sat down and read it, I flew through it. So that's what I read. Now, as to what, I guess we'll jump into what I picked up recently. I did get something from a Lumi Crate. I believe that's how you say it. Jess over at Mood Reader, she posted this and talked about this book, and it sounded fascinating. I don't know when I'll get to it, but I ordered my first Lumi Crate, which came in that orange box right there, and that is the Asad Hare. Cannot wait to read this. Sounds very interesting, and this book is absolutely beautiful. The artwork in it is fascinating. So yeah, she said nothing but great things about this, and so I went ahead and ordered it. It wasn't that really that expensive, honestly. So at some point I'll be diving into that. And then I got, let me see if I can get these two together real quick, because I went into Barnes & Noble and they had the buy one get one 50% off deal going on. And I didn't need anything at the particular time, so I picked up How to Make a Horror Movie and Survive. As you know, I love movies and I love horror movies, so I picked that up, sounded interesting, and along with that, I got Stephen King's Fairy Tale. So I want to dive into Stephen King. I'm actually just started one today. I'll get into that in a second. But I wanted to read one of his books like once a month or once every other month, because I have hardly read anything from Stephen King. I read 3 of his shorter books, but not like Stephen King type stuff in my opinion. So diving into some of his stuff, cannot wait. And then I also picked up, let me put these right here, Morningstar, which is the follow-up to Golden Sun, and like I said, I cannot wait to dive into this. That's the third one in the trilogy. I'm looking forward to this. Hopefully this is as good as the second one, if not better. I cannot wait to see what happens. It's going to be chaotic, I'm sure. After that ending of the second one, I don't know where this is going to go. I'm definitely looking forward to it though. So I grabbed that, and of course I went ahead and picked up this because I was already enjoying Royal Assassin, and I knew I needed this as soon as possible. So hopefully I'll be getting into this month, hopefully sooner than later. This is a thick boy too. Yeah, this is about 850-ish pages, so about another 200 pages added on. But if it's anything like the last one, it will read through quickly. It's one of those books I do not want to put down. This is probably my favorite series that I'm reading, or that I have read. So absolutely love this. Looking forward to this. And then a series that I wanted to get into, because anybody, even people that don't read, if you mention that you're reading, they always ask, have you read Lord of the Rings? I have not read Lord of the Rings. I know. Start the hate comments down below. I read The Hobbit years and years ago, but that was when I wasn't reading that much. So I read it. I absolutely loved it, but I never dived into the Lord of the Rings. So I bought this beautiful set right here. The artwork on this is amazing. Let's see if I pull these out and show off, just to give an example. The artwork is fascinating. I cannot wait to get in these. I'm wanting to, plan is, this is on the TBR for the year, so I'm wanting to read these by the end of the year. That's my goal. Hopefully starting soon. Like I said, I want to read Assassin's Quest and Morning Star, and I'm also reading a book that I'm about to get into. But I wanted to start these and finish this by the end of the year. That is my goal, to have the Lord of the Rings read, so I can say that I've read the Lord of the Rings, because anybody who's anybody apparently has read these, and I have not. So diving into that, I cannot wait. And when I finish that, I will dive in and watch all the movies, which I have seen before, but it's been a long time, and I don't think I've ever sat down and watched them back to back. So that'll be a fun experience, hopefully. So maybe I'll turn into a Lord of the Rings geek. Who knows? And then I think there's a few other things, but last but not least, this is what I just started reading today. So far, loving it. Like I said, I want to get into Stephen King, so I picked up Misery. I was actually at the bookstore, and I was going to pick up The Shining, and the worker there that I've talked to a few times came up. I was asking what I was looking for, and I said, starting off Stephen King. She asked me what I read. I said basically nothing. So she told me to start with Misery. So I would put The Shining down and went and grabbed Misery. I have seen the movie. It's been a very long time, but I do remember who Kathy Bates and then the other guy played. So I can kind of picture what's going on a little bit. I only remember a few scenes. So far, really enjoying this. I'm about 62 pages in. That's just this morning sitting down reading it. So I'll probably read some more of this today. Maybe I'll get halfway through it. But so that's the plan. Got that, reading that. So that's, if you read this, let me know down below. And is this a good place to start with Stephen King? But yeah, so that's the reading journey as of recently. That's what I read. That's kind of the plan on what I'm reading soon. I'm not going to set like an exact TBR for the month, because after I get done with this horror, I might want to read another horror since it is October. If not, I'll jump into one of the books that I purchased. So that's the plan. That's the goal. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to. Let me know what you're reading down below, and let me know what you thought of my reads, and maybe if you have any suggestions of what I should add, or if I should read something first, or whatever the case may be. I love the comments, and I love chatting with y'all, and that's why we make these videos. So I'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye.